What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is Semana Santa here in Medellín, Colombia, and it is a beautiful day today. I figured I would take this opportunity to make a video. I had something on my mind and I wanted to talk about it and see if you guys agree, disagree. You guys could let me know in the comments, but basically my thought was, is there still an advantage to being a passport bro in 2026? Now, what I mean by that, I don't necessarily mean is it worth traveling to live somewhere abroad and take advantage of the lower cost of living. I mean more so, is it still worth it for those people who are traveling for love? You're traveling to a different country to date. Now, from a lot of the videos that I've seen, on average, a lot of people are not having the most success when it comes to dating abroad. Here in Colombia is leading to a lot of people who are getting frustrated with the outcome, in a sense. Like, a lot of girls are asking for money. You don't know if the girl likes you for you, whatever it may be. And I say all this to say as well, in the Philippines, a lot of people are not having a lot of success as well. I mean, granted, there are some, but not all. And then overall, when you look at it, just in the travel space in general, for the content creators that are creating content about dating abroad, whether it's in Colombia, Philippines, whatever country it may be, a lot of these content creators are single, they're not married. And a part of that, of course, is because they're constantly moving from country to country. But I would think for some of the people who have been doing this for years, by now you would have found somebody in some country. And regardless if you don't plan on staying in that country, you could bring that girl with you to whatever country you're going to, or whatever countries you're going to visit. But the majority of the people, the content creators that I've seen that are considered passport bros or whatever, they are all single or unmarried, shall we say. So, this made me think of, is it actually still worth it? I know a lot of people are trying to date abroad because a part of it is, okay, well, there's an advantage. You feel as if, hey, I have an advantage for going to date overseas, going to date in another country like the Philippines, like Colombia, or something to that extent. And now that foreigners are so regular abroad, there isn't that wow factor anymore like it used to be back in maybe the 90s or early 2000s. I remember myself, when I first went to, of course it wants to be super windy now. Hopefully the audio is not messed up on this video because I did not bring my microphones or my wind guards as well. But yeah, hopefully the audio isn't too bad on here. But so yeah, I'm saying all this to say, I remember when I went to Brazil for the first time in like 2009, it was still good to date in that time, because obviously the passport bro term was not coined yet, and it was not put in the media as much, and it wasn't seen as something that's a negative thing. And of course, passport bros for some reason tends to be kind of associated more with American, but it's all countries. It's UK, it's Australia, it's Canada, it's every country. It's people from every country, not just only the US. But the thing is that for a lot of the guys that are deciding to travel abroad to date, they are doing this because they are trying to leverage their status and their money, or the image that they have, or the, we should say, status that they have of being from a country that holds a more powerful passport, and as well the earning potential that they have. But now you're getting to the point where you're getting to the point where that doesn't really matter anymore for a lot of the women abroad. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter at all. I think, of course, status and money plays a part in dating in general. So yeah, of course, it does play a part in dating. But as I said, in a lot of the countries, for example, let's take Colombia, because I've been living here for the last few years, so I can speak on Colombia more specifically. But if you're trying to get a woman here who is classy, who lives in a higher end neighborhood, she's not coming from a lower barrio or a neighborhood that is not considered poor or whatever, then those girls don't really care about you being American or a foreigner, and they don't really care that you quote unquote you have money. Now, of course, the girls in the lower areas, they care, and this is in every country. And some guys' argument is, well, no matter where you go, women are gonna want you for what you can provide. And of course, yes, this is true. Hypergamy exists for a reason. It is part of female nature. This isn't something I don't think most guys don't know already, but it is, that kind of goes into the segment, or into the question, are you really just traveling abroad to date the low-hanging fruit, or you're traveling abroad to date less desirable women? Now, I say this because here in Colombia, I've met tons of guys who maybe in the States or before, they said, I'm not interested in dating a woman with kids, or I would never date a girl who does OnlyFans, or a girl who does any kind of prostitution, or I really should have just kept this exposure on auto instead of trying to use a ND filter. So I say all of that to say, basically, you have a lot of guys who are traveling overseas, and they are accepting what I would consider less desirable women than what they would have. Let me say that again, because it was a little loud with the music. But guys are traveling overseas to date and marry women who are less desirable than what they would have accepted in the United States. And I say this to say, because I've met a lot of guys here in Colombia, and I'm sure it's the same thing in Thailand, and insert whatever country, that guys are dating women that have a kid or multiple kids. They're traveling overseas to become stepdads, or they are dating women who have a bunch of tattoos. I mean, for some guys, they may not care. For me, it's not something I'm really into. But, supposedly a lot of guys don't want to date women who have tattoos. But, here in Colombia or in said country, whatever country that may be, guys are making all types of exceptions. So on top of it, you know, I've met plenty of guys who are in relationships with full-blown prostitutes, girls that they knew were prostitutes, that they've met while they were prostitutes, and essentially went from a pay to play situation into a full-blown relationship. So, you know, it's not like most guys are traveling overseas and they're getting the most beautiful women there is in that country, the most classy, the most intelligent. Normally, I mean, you are traveling to a place because you figure you have an advantage in dating, you know, for those people that are doing it. So, like I said, I just wanted to make this video really quick, kind of posing that question: is it still really worth being a passport bro in 2026? Now, as I said, I'm not talking about people who are moving abroad to start a new life because they want to take advantage of the lower cost of living, they just love the culture or whatever else it may be. But for the guys that it was a key factor in their decision to move is for dating, I can tell you now, you know, it's not the only thing that I moved to Colombia for, but I can tell you from personal experience, it's definitely it's not as cracked up as people make it out to be. A lot of people are selling you a dream as far as how easy it is to date. A lot of guys are paying women to be on stream or on live or in their videos. They are you know, they're trying to make it seem like it's a highlight reel, and really there's no difference in dating here in Colombia or anywhere else than it is in the United States. Like, granted, yes, the women may be slightly more feminine, more friendly, but you still deal with a lot of the same challenges that you would deal with back in your own country, with communication, family, everything else, you know, whatever your morals may be or values, you're trying to make sure that aligns with the girl as well. So yeah, it's not like you're realistically have that much of advantage, because in the case of here in Colombia, you know, you think, oh, okay, well, most girls are going to want to date a gringo because they have money, and there's a lot of rich Colombian men here who are in shape, who take care of themselves, and who speak the language, who knows the culture. So, and this question stemmed from, or it came from, I recently just put a video on my YouTube and on TikTok that's actually going viral right now, on, at least for my account, from what I normally get as far as views and all that. It's going viral because I said that I did an interview with some girls, and I asked would they date foreigners, and all of them said no. And of course I put in the caption that, you know, a lot of guys think that all it takes is just going to whatever country like Colombia, knowing a little bit of Spanish and having some game, and that's it. It's just instant success, when realistically it's not the case. So I just wanted to know, you know, what you guys' thoughts or opinions are. But that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching, and until the next one, you guys be safe.